Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Mariah, and we are here to interview Dr. Kopp. Where did you go to college?
I went to college at UC San Diego, here in La Jolla, and I majored in chemistry.
All right. What classes did you take in high school in order to get into the college that you wanted?
Back then, we didn't really have that it wasn't the same kind of pressure. I would say, we just took, I took advanced mathematics and some higher level English classes, but we didn't have AP classes or anything like that back then.
All right.
Way back in the prehistoric days.
Prehistoric. Did you do any internships?
In college and dental school, I did do some.
All right. What are your interests in your profession?
I enjoy doing large-scale, what we call prosthetic work or rehab work. So what I enjoy doing is major rebuilds for people who've destroyed their teeth for a number of reasons.
What made you want to be a dentist?
I got my teeth knocked out when I was young playing football and golf, 2 separate times. So I spent a lot of time in the dental office, and that's how I learned at a very young age that I wanted to become a dentist.
All right. What are your hours and your schedule like?
I've got probably the best schedule that anybody could want. So I work basically an 8 to 5 day, Monday through Thursday.
Wow. All right. Most enjoyable and least enjoyable about your work?
Most enjoyable is being able to change somebody's life by changing their smile, changing something that they've never liked about themselves, and being able it's very self-gratifying to be able to help somebody. So that's probably the best. The worst is when things don't go well. Not everything in healthcare, in any field, any business, anything that you do is 100% perfect. It doesn't always go that way. So quite frequently, it's hard to be able to deal with when something doesn't go exactly the way you would like it to go. And it could be a product failure, it could be a patient failure, and it could be one of my own failures, and that's the hardest thing to deal with.
Alrighty. Alright, stop it real quick.
Okay, what do you usually see on a typical day?
A typical day, one of the nice things about my job is no day is identical to the last day. So it goes full scale. I can see trauma and I can see cosmetic work. I could see implant reconstruction, which is, so any given day I may see anywhere from 25 to 30 patients. Yeah, you get to see quite a few people. It's sometimes hard to remember everybody's name, but you end up remembering their teeth a lot more than their names.
That's cool. Do you have a certain sanitizing or preparation routine you do daily?
Well, we have all kinds of things that we do on a routine basis, but basically every time, we wash our hands quite frequently during the day, but every time we walk into an operatory, it's a new pair of gloves. Every time I walk out of that operatory, that room, the gloves come off through an extensive sterilization process for all of our instruments. That sterilization process is also monitored by an outside agency that we take samples from and mail it off to and make sure that everything's always working correctly. And then between each patient, each room is cleaned and thoroughly gone over with sterilization agents for certain areas and disinfecting agents for other areas.
Okay. What is your utilized profession outside of work?
I mean, on some scales, I'm great at surfboard repair because I can bond. I know how to bond teeth, and so whenever we have a dinged up surfboard, I'm usually the one that gets to do that. But more frequently, it has to do with just being in. There's been a number of times where I've been in a public place, had somebody either be traumatized or have a medical emergency where they've gone down, and they're, I'm the closest person around that understands maybe how to handle a situation. So there have been numerous times where I've gone to somebody who's collapsed on the ground and been able to determine whether they needed CPR or just have their airway open, activate the 911 system, get the proper people there. So,
do you ever see any injuries related to sports?
Quite frequently. One of the ones that comes to mind was 2 years ago at homecoming football game. We scored a touchdown, and one of the receivers went to his buddy to do a headbang, and his buddy didn't have his helmet on, and he headbanged him right in the face and snapped his tooth right off. And they came and found me in the stands, pulled me out of the stands, and I took him here to the office right away and put him back together again. He was able to, even though he had sheared off the tooth, I was able to find the piece of the tooth, get the tooth bonded back into place, and he was able to go to the homecoming dance the next night, and no one knew that the whole thing had been broken off. So that's probably my most unique story, but I've dealt with a lot with kids around swimming pools and kids in skateboards where they fall and hit their face or hit their teeth. Jumping in the pool and hitting their teeth. And then I got my own start in dentistry because of sporting injury, because I got kicked in the mouth playing football at the park, and I got hit in the mouth with a golf ball playing golf. So, there's quite a bit of sports-related injuries that we do see.
Okay. How do you deal with people that are like scared of the dentist?
The best way is to talk to them first off, and sit with them and just look them eye to eye, not get real close to them, and then ask them what are they afraid of. And when they can pinpoint what it is that they're afraid of, then we can discuss, where does that fear come from, and what I could do to minimize that fear.
Why is flossing important?
The quick answer is that a toothbrush can't get between your teeth.
Does doing sports at a young age affect tooth development or positioning?
There could be certain issues with if you wore a specific kind of device. Let's say if it was a mouth guard or something like that. There could be an issue, but more frequently not. Swimming does create a lot of staining on teeth, so I'll see it in kids who are water polo players or learning to become water polo players even very, very young. I'll see a lot of staining on their teeth, and it looks like they've been smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee all their life, but it turns out it's just the chlorine in the water that stains their teeth, and we can polish their teeth up real quickly, and then all that stain goes away. So that's about the only sports effect I can really see that I've noticed.
Good deal. That's our interview.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
I hope it helps.
Thank you.